Thank you all so much for joining us today for this webinar, which is going to focus on Continia expense management. I'll just introduce myself quickly. I am Kik's Business Central pre-sales specialist, and I'm joined today by Martijn from Continia, who will be demonstrating Continia expenses to showcase the brilliant tool Continia have developed for Business Central. Continia are a dear and close partner for Kik, and we have completed many implementations of their software on new and existing Business Central environments. I personally have implemented Continia products, including Continia expenses, and I've seen the huge advantages that Continia software can bring to Business Central implementations and the excellent return on investment that they bring over a short period of time. So really looking forward to this webinar today. I'm now going to hand over to Martijn, who's going to run us through the presentation. Please feel free to add any questions in the side and we'll address them all at the end. Over to you, Martijn.
Awesome, Jacques. Nice to be here again. Good morning, everybody. My name is Martin. I heard that some of you were also in the presentation from last week, so it's great to see some of you back again. This week, we're going to focus on our expense management solution. The same as we did last week. I'm first going to show you a couple of slides explaining the solution, explaining who Continia is and our relationship with Kik. And then I'll switch over to the live demo for a 15-minute demo to give you a good idea of what the software can do for you. And same as always, the offer stands. If you want a personalized demo for you and your team, please reach out to your Kik representative and we'll make sure that happens. So my name is Martijn Holteman. I live in the Netherlands, but I'm a partner manager for the UK. I've been doing that for quite some years now, and I help our partners like Kik, delivering the solutions like expense management to you. I want to start off today to tell you something about Continia. Continia is an ISV, and we create add-ons for Business Central from Microsoft. All of our solutions are around the automation of the finance department. The most important part about our software is that it's fully integrated into Business Central. We do not connect to other ERP systems like Sage or Oracle, or it's called NetSuite or SAP, fully focused on Business Central. We have been in business for more than 30 years, and in those 30 years, we became quite big. We now proudly serve over 22,000 customers worldwide, and those 22,000 customers activated more than 35,000 solutions of Continia. Then let's move on to the Kik partnership. Kik was one of the first partners in the UK to establish a relationship with Continia. Kik has been a premium partner for Continia, for a lot of years now, and they're one of the top % partners in the UK who managed to get this status. Within Kik, more than 58 customers use our software, and more than 139 Continia solutions have been activated. And what is important, it is not just a contract that we sign together. We really are invested into the partnership. Kik makes sure that a lot of staff goes to the in-person trainings that we have every quarter somewhere in the UK. Multiple staff are certified within Continia, and we're also trying to do that back with the help of webinars, but also always happily coming to the customer events that Kik is organizing. So if you decide to move on with this, know that you're in good hands. You'll not be a guinea pig, which is good to know, I think, in software land. Kik is really a good Continia partner. And now move on why we're here today, expense management. So expense management is our solution for submitting expenses, mileage claims, and more directly from your mobile phone into Business Central. You can use your app on your mobile phone to take a photo of the receipt and then send it to Business Central, basically from anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. Within Business Central, the accounts payable team can see the receipts coming in with a nice picture of it on the right-hand side, and then they can be processed further, of course, with approval flows and more. The app, we have an OCR AI receipt scanner in it. So now you do not have to type in information anymore. Most of the details will be taken off the receipt in any language, and the fields will be populated for you. Of course, you will recognize the VAT amount, auto-filled information. What does that mean? The AI is learning. So maybe a simple example. If it sees you submitted a receipt and you selected the payment type, this was my personal card. What the system does, it will look at the receipt and sees, hey, I see you paid something with card ending with number 1234. It will save that for later, and next time when it sees that same card number on another receipt, it will fill in the payment type automatically for you. And it will do the same with automatic categorization of expense types, which I'll explain more about later. You will get notifications sent to your app. And besides taking photos of a receipt or grabbing a PDF file that you have on your mobile phone, you can also send receipts directly from other apps into expense management. For example, if you used Uber, you can click on the receipt of Uber and then say open with expense management. It will open up like this. All the fields will be populated and you can continue. And this works for most third-party apps. What is the AI receipt scanner capturing? Well, it actually does a lot. It captures the amount and the currency for you, the document date, the payment type, and the merchant. It can capture multiple VAT amounts for you. But also what is important nowadays, Microsoft has a sustainability module within Business Central that you might already using. And with expense management, we can capture ESG data. So the system can register how many miles you have driven, how many liters of fuel you've put into your car, or kilowatt hours if you drive an electric car. So this is all native to our expense management app. How does it look like on paper? Basically, on the left-hand side, we got the expense user. The nice thing is that the expense user does not need to have a license from Microsoft to submit the expenses. They can submit expenses either via their mobile phone, which is the most popular, I would say, or via our expense portal. The expense portal is basically the app that you have on your mobile phone, but you open this up on your laptop. They have the same functionality, they're synchronized. So how would you use this on a day-to-day basis? Well, if I look at myself, I use my mobile phone 99% of the time because it's super convenient. However, when I book a flight, I usually do this on my laptop because, I like the big screen and I can compare flights a little bit. And when I've booked my flight, I submit it via the expense portal because I'm working on my laptop anyway. From the left to the right, it gets sent to Business Central. If you look on the bottom, you see transactions, corporate credit cards. If you use corporate credit cards within your organization, we have a connection with Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. And if your bank allows it, we can upload the transactions on a daily basis. This happens automatically. And then expense management will try to match those transactions from your bank to the receipts that the users have sent in, saving you a lot of time getting everything matched up on your side. And of course, we have reminder functionalities, but I'll tell you more about this later. We can have done to do, of course, do approvals, and then once it's approved, it can be posted, and the user will be paid, of course, at the end. Who benefits? Well, there are three parties involved who benefit. We got the expense user, of course, the approver, and the bookkeeper. If I look at our organization, in the past, when we did not have expense management, I would save all my receipts. At the end of the month, I would open up a nice Excel sheet. I would start typing everything in, put it in an envelope, and I gave it to my director, who was my approver. He would go through all of it, approves everything. Then he would hand it to the bookkeeper or the finance department. They would start typing everything in, file the receipts, and in the end, pay me. So it was basically a lot of work for all the three parties involved. Now, with expense management, I take a photo of the receipt. The AI grabs almost all of the information. I add something, I swipe to the right, and the receipt is sent to the approver. I can throw away the receipt. The HMRC allows that you have a digital copy of the physical receipt, so you can throw away the paper one. My director gets an email that he has something to approve. He does this once a week, and then it comes back to Business Central, where the finance team can have a final check, maybe adjust something, and then they will post it. So it will really save a lot of time for the three parties involved. And if we focus more about the value for the finance team. I will show you this in a couple of seconds, but We use expense types to code expenses to the correct general ledger account, so that happens almost automatically for you. You as a company can fully customize the app without coding. You do not need the help of your IT department, Kik, or Continia to do this. Of course, in the beginning you do to teach you, but after that you'll be self-sufficient, I think is the word in English. You do not have to save the paper receipts anymore. And of course, we have the integrated credit card and statement reconciliation. Now, this was the PowerPoint, and now let me show you how it works in real life. I'm going to shut off my PowerPoint, and then if you can let me know if you can see my screen. Yes, I'm going to log in. There we go. I'm assuming that you can see my screen. This is how it looks like for the accounts payable team. Fully integrated into Business Central, so you do not have to open up a separate application in the morning. Our software will be there. As the accounts payable team, and this will be the first part of the demonstration, they can see a couple of things. On the left-hand side, they can see an expense report and how many came in. An expense report is something that a user can create, and here people can combine things together. For example, I just arrived in London to visit some of our partners over here today. And I've created an expense report and I've added my airline ticket to it, the tube ride that I took this morning, my hotel, food that I'll have tonight. And when I fly back tomorrow, I will close down the expense report. And then my director can see in one overview how much I've spent during this trip. So it's really nice if you want to combine things together. Next to that, you will see individual expenses. Myself, I live in the Netherlands. When I have a parking receipt, I usually get those when I visit a customer. I just take a photo of it and expense it as an individual one. Next to that, we can see the corporate credit card transactions coming in from the bank. We can do mileage claims, and we use Google Maps to calculate the route. And we have per diem. Per diem is not something we see being used a lot in the UK. We do see it sometimes with logistical companies. And let me explain to you what per diem is. Per diem is basically giving your colleagues an allowance. You can say, I'm going to give you £10 for lunch and £20 for dinner. And we don't care what you spend it on. You just get the money in your bank account. You don't have to produce any receipts. Just, spend the money or not. It's up to you. Tax-wise, a lot of companies do not do this. In the logistical sector, we sometimes see if a driver is away overnight, they get £25 for entertainment in the evening. If you want it, we have it, of course, because this is being used a lot in Europe. But like I said, in the UK, we do not see it that often. Now, just before this demo, I prepared some credit card transactions. I uploaded them to my system. The first time that I do this, I need to assign a card to a user, basically telling the system, if you see this credit card number, it belongs to this person. This is a one-time exercise that I have to do in my demo. You also, of course, do it once, and you do not have to think about it again. The system is now checking if this person has sent in any receipts for these transactions. If she did, they will be matched and everything is okay. If she didn't, the system will send automatic reminders to that person's phone, to their email, and basically keep chasing them. So hopefully this will save the accounts payable team chasing their colleague with a stick. Now, if I now click on expenses, and this might look for some a bit familiar that saw the document capture demo last week. This is the place where the accounts payable team can process the expenses. Over here on the top left-hand side, you can see how many expenses came in. On the right-hand side, you can see the attachments, and down below, you can see the comments. In this case, it says attachments are missing, and that's why it's blank over here. Also, if I look at the description, you can see pending expense user. So what happened here, and this will happen realistically with you as well, this person used their corporate credit card, but did not send in the receipt yet. When I log into this person's phone in a couple of minutes, you will see these expenses laying there for the user to add a receipt to. Before I'm going to do that, I want to take you through these columns so that you can see what information expense management is capturing. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see who submitted the expense, what date did the transaction take place, how did the person pay, and then we come to the expense types. We believe that people who are submitting expenses are not finance people. They do not know to what general ledger account something needs to be posted to. However, we do believe that they can categorize their expenses. So what you will do as a company, you will create your own list of expense types or categories, if you want to call them like that. And behind those expense types, you will code the general ledger accounts. And you can put variations in there based on employee or on country, of course. And then the user just selects, for example, accommodation, and then the system will post this receipt later on general ledger account A. Don't worry, you can always overrule it because you are the finance department, right? You are in control. We can see the description. We can see attendees being added to an expense. We can see the merchant. We can see the status, if it's been put on hold, who's approving it, the currency code. You can see the amount in a foreign currency and next to it the amount in a local currency, the VAT amounts, and then very important, we're fully integrated into Business Central. That means that you can add and remove fields to the app yourself, and you can, for example, add your dimensions or your projects or your jobs, and you can make it mandatory for your colleagues to fill those in, yes or no. In the ribbon, the accounts payable team has all the buttons that they need to process these expenses. And I'll say it one more time, everything that we try to do automatically, you as the accounts payable team can overrule that because you are the accounts payable team, of course. Now, I now want to switch over to the role of the expense user. I'm going to show you the app today, also because of time, but also the functionality between the portal and the app are the same, but the app is being used the most. The app will work on iPhone and on Android phones. You will be able to log in with single sign-on if you have that within your organization. It takes a couple of seconds for the system to log in. And then over here, this is how the app looks like. At the top, you can see what company you're expensing in. Over here on the left, you can put your company logo over here. And then the user can submit expenses, mileage claims, per diems, or reports. If you do not have per diems, then this will not be displayed to the user, of course. Now, what I want to do, I want to create a new expense. And these fields have been defined by you as a company. The user can now click on the camera button and take a photo of the receipt. Click on the paperclip and grab a photo or a file that they have on their mobile phone. This button will be redundant soon. Before we had the AI scanner in expense management, you would have to fill in everything yourself, and then you could save it as a template for recurring expenses. But with the AI, yeah, it's not necessary anymore. In my demo, I have this fourth circle over here containing my receipts because, yeah, it's a demo. So let's say I just took this picture. Do I like it? Yes, I do. And then we see the word scanning. The system will now capture a couple of values. It captures the amount, the currency, the date, and it captured the merchant. The system will learn very fast. Starting off with the payment type. The user can now select, did I pay this with my own money or did I pay this with the corporate credit card? I will select, I paid this with my own money now. How do you say that? In the background, the system will take a note of the card that was used on this receipt and will store that information on their private card. So next receipt, I do not have to fill in the payment type anymore. The same goes for the expense types, the categories. The system will learn from your expense habits. If you look at yourself, what do you usually expense? Well, if I look at myself, it's usually within, I think, 4 or 5 categories. It is airline tickets and transport, basically. I have hotels, I have food, I have parking. Yeah, and that's almost it. So if the system recognizes your British Airway flight or EasyJet, it will fill in transport for you, or the tube, or the, I don't know, the Virgin train, something like that. It will remember that for you. I will now select an expense type, food and beverages, and basically, and this is realistic, this is the only thing I will have to fill in, that is the description. If you have recurring expenses, like you're putting fuel in your company car, it can help you with the description, but realistically, this is something that you would fill in. Coffee during trip, something like that. The merchant was captured. We can add an admin comment so that the accounts payable team can see that. We can press the button add allocation lines. What does that mean? With allocation lines, you can split out a receipt over multiple costs. So if you get a receipt from a hotel, you can say, I want to allocate £100 to a hotel and £40 to food during business trip, so that everything will hit your GLs in the correct manner. I can also add it to the report, my London trip that I'm currently doing. But for now, I'm happy with it. I'm going to swipe it to the right and the expense is done. And really, this will take you 10 seconds to do. And yeah, you're done. If you use the corporate credit card, you would expense it in the same way, only the payment type will be different. If you use your corporate credit card and did not send in the receipt yet, you will have them waiting for you in the app and you will get constant reminders. The user can now select a transaction. It will see that the system captured a lot of information already based on the information that we got from the bank. I fill in the description, breakfast during my trip. Now I add my receipt to it. There we go. And then I can swipe it to the right. So even if the user forgot it, we try to make it very easy for them to add that receipt as soon as possible. We can also do mileage claims. We use Google Maps to calculate the route for you. You can set up within Business Central how much money a person per mile is receiving, maybe depending on their car or their engine size. We can implement HMRC rules, like that after 10,000 miles, the rate will drop a little bit. And we can do that. And it really uses Google. So if I type in kick ICT, and I think it's in Bells Hill, I think that is correct. If I would go to Kick, I would usually fly into Glasgow Airport. And even with my horrible typing, Google still saves me. And then you can see the distance is 21 miles. It will take a photo of it for me. I can adjust the number of miles if there's roadworks. However, the accounts payable team and the approver will get a notification of this saying Google calculated 21 miles, you're expensing 25. Do you agree? If you want, and if you do this, you can add fuel receipts, for example. I can fill in the purpose, visit Kick HQ. I can add admin comments, add it to my report. But when I'm happy, I just swipe to the right. I can create a return trip immediately. I can continue from there to another place or just submit it. I'll submit it for now, and then it's done. The per diem, really quick, you will define what a person will be receiving money-wise within Business Central. The user will say when will they be gone. And in my demo, for example, the user has set up, no, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And on the same next day, they can say, well, I'm not having dinner because I'm already went back home. If this now gets approved, that person will get a certain amount of money in their bank account and they can choose how to spend that. This is not a company policy where you say you can spend a maximum of £10 on a lunch. This is really if you just give them the money and they can choose how to spend it without having to give the receipts to you. Visit project A on site, something like that. And then I can report it and it's done. The final part, the report, this is actually being used a lot in the UK. Some companies even create one report per month per user, or they ask their users to do this, where you say expenses March 2026, and I'll create it, and I can create multiple expense reports at a go. And now what I can do, I could have added I clicked a bit too fast. I could have added my receipts and mileage claims straight from there. But let's say I already pre-booked my hotel with the corporate credit card. I'll add my receipt from booking.com. There we go. There we go. I press select. And then I will fill in the description. Hotel during UK trip. And then instead of pressing submit, I will say add to report, add it to my expenses in March. I press save. And now you can see this folder gets created over here. And you keep adding into it until you're done. The nice thing is that the accounts payable team will have an overview in Business Central of these expense reports, and they can see live what people are adding into it. Now, in the app, people can see on the history what they've submitted so far. They also get notification when something got approved or rejected. On the top right, you can add an extra layer of security or use only when the Wi-Fi is available. We can do a lot more with the app and the expense portal than I'm showing you right now. But yeah, because of time, I cannot show you everything. But hopefully, it gives you an idea of how it would look like for your colleagues submitting expenses. Now, the final part, if I go back to Business Central, I'm now pressing the button Synchronize, which we can automate for your in your organization. And then all the expenses will be downloaded into Business Central. There we go. And now, for example, as accounts payable team, if you see this mileage claim, you get to see a picture on the right-hand side. Over here, all of the information, the addresses, the miles, and the money that they can expect. The same goes for your expenses. We can see that two still have some work need to be done by the user, but here I can see they've added their receipt and also for this one. The expenses can now be sent for approval. The approval is how do you say that? With document capture, we have multiple flows. With expense management, we have one flow. Basically, we set up one manager per expense user, and the manager will receive all of the expenses, mileage claims, and reports from that user. If you want, you can give that manager a limit, saying, well, if the expense exceeds £500, then I also, how do you say that? I want a second approval to be added to it. So that is possible. The approvers will get a notification via email. You can schedule that email to come once a day, once every 2 days, yeah, whatever frequency works within your organization. They can approve within our web approval portal or Business Central. I'm showing you Business Central today. They get to see the receipt on the right-hand side, all of the information over here. And at the top, they can press approve. They can reject it. If they reject it, they need to fill in a comment why. Because that will be sent back to the expense user. And this hopefully saves some questions towards the accounts payable team. We can forward it to another person, put it on hold if there's a query, add comments. When the approver's on holiday, they can set up an out of office and they can see some more details of the receipt. In this case, I'll press approved. And now also the user gets a notification on their mobile phone if they allow this. Your mileage claim was approved, your per diem was approved, and your receipt was approved. The expenses now come to their final stage, the release stage, and released expenses can be posted. You can do that one by one in a batch, or you can even automate it. The users will be set up either as vendors within your system or as employees, and they will be posted against either of the two. If somebody used a corporate credit card, they will not get paid, of course. The system will also make a posting on your bank's vendor account so that when the bank deducts the money at the end of the month, the balance will be zero. I'm going to post them now. And instead of pressing batch post, I press post. Apologies. You can do this in one go. Now I have to click twice. There we go. And now we've run through the complete process from beginning to end. So the user takes a photo of the receipt, the AI captures almost all the information, you add something, swipe to the right and forget about it. The accounts payable team can have a look in Business Central, then they can automatically send it to the approvers. The approvers will get a notification. They will do this on their mobile phone or in Business Central. And then it comes back to finance for a final check, and then we can post it either manually or automatically. And this should, this will save the three parties involved a lot of time. Now, I've 3 minutes left before we have some room for questions. The final part that I want to talk to you about is the archive and how to find documents back. The receipts can be stored in two places, one within Business Central itself, or within Azure Blob Storage. With Azure Blob Storage, you basically rent a piece of hard disk in a Microsoft data center, probably in the UK for GDPR reasons, and the images will be stored over there. The archive is yours. Even if you stop with the software, you still have access to the archive because this is also a must from the HMRC. However, you do access them from within Business Central, and you can access them. Well, the rule is basically everywhere where the receipt touches something in Business Central, you will be able to see it. So you can open it up from the chart of accounts. You can see the receipts from the posted expenses, the posted mileage claims, the vendor card, the employee card, the VAT entries, anywhere. Let me show you. I'm going to click on chart of accounts. This is a standard Business Central page. I'm going to type in food. I'm going to click on the balance. And then what the system does, it will show you in the description the person who expensed it and then a description of the expense. And if you click on the Find Entries button, which you find all throughout Business Central, you'll be able to navigate straight to the receipt and the approval log, and it will be easy for you to find it. We sometimes get the question, do you provide us with reports? The short answer is no, we don't. However, because we're fully integrated into Business Central, all of the information is in Business Central tables. So if you use a Power BI tool, you can create your own reports, but you can also use the standard Excel function from within Business Central, of course, where you can say, I'm filtering on a particular user and in a date range with a certain expense type, and then you can download that to Excel, and then you can see what that person spent on hotels in the first quarter. We do have one report that we create, and this report is created for the expense user. And this report gives them an overview what they've expensed in a month, what the status of the expenses is, and how much money they can expect at the end of the month. You can automate this report that will be sent to every user we get it every Tuesday morning at Continia. And this is how it will look like. And here you can see that some expenses starting at the top that are not posted yet. And I can see this from the corporate credit card. It says pending expense user. So hopefully this will trigger them to do something. You can see some expenses are posted. You can see the mileage claims that they are released. That means that they are approved but not posted yet. So it's a super convenient report also to match it against your own administration if you've submitted all of the receipts. Now, this was 30 minutes of lightning fast expense management. It is one of our most popular solutions within the UK next to document capture. I compare it to the country where I'm living in, the Netherlands. We're quite small and do not travel that much. In the UK, you do more. And for us, it's one of our biggest markets for expense management. It is easy for Kik to install. It will be easy for you to learn. Most of the training will be involved around the accounts payable team setting up the app and everything within Business Central. Then, of course, there will be a training for the end user, but the app is pretty much self-explanatory, and you will figure it out, of course. If you want more information about this software or how much it costs, please reach out to your Kik representative, and they'll be happy to tell you about it. And of course, we can also plan a one-on-one demo for you and your team. For now, I would like to thank you all for listening to me today. And Jacques or Carmen, are there any questions from the audience?
Thank you so much, Martin. That was a very quick overview, but a very extensive overview of the capabilities for Continia expense management. So I think just to follow on from what Martin was saying there, so Kik and Continia are close partners. However, Kik are extensively experienced and skilled in the implementation of Continia products. So we will implement these products within your environment. The advantage of this is especially when we are doing the bulk of the implementation for Business Central, and when we have already done the implementation for Business Central, is we understand your environments, we understand your configuration, and we're able to ensure that the configuration of expense management is in line with your chart of accounts and is in line with your organizational rules. We have a question here, which I'm very happy to take from Jamie. Thank you very much for this, Jamie. So as I said, Kik will handle the implementation. There are some limited costs associated with implementing expense management, just because we need to spend some time with you to fully understand the requirements and to ensure that we configure this in line with what you require. Kik also are first line support for Continia products. We have continuous support as well for second line support to ensure that we can capture all support issues which come through. There is a very minor uplift on support for this. I think I know who your account manager is, Jamie, so I'm very happy to suggest that he reaches out to you to discuss this, and I can come on a call and we can discuss this further. If there are any other questions, please just put them in the question thread so we can handle them. If not, then this is by no means the last time that you'll be able to ask us any questions. Please feel free to reach out to Kik. You can reach out to myself. You can reach out to Cameron. We'll be sending out some follow-up after this, along with the slides from Martijn's presentation.
Yes.
And we're always happy to have a conversation as to how we can help you as an organisation with your expense management. I think as somebody who, as Martijn was saying correctly, in the UK, we do tend to travel a fair bit. I think since COVID restrictions have eased, this has really taken off considerably again. So it's something which can really make a big difference to an organisation. I think both from a finance perspective, from a management perspective, but also from approval and control. But most importantly, from the perspective of the end user, it's exceptionally easy to raise your expenses. It's exceptionally easy to put them through the mobile app. And I think from when I first implemented continuous expense management, we've seen some significant improvements in this product, notably the introduction of AI to help create and allocate the expenses both within the front end, within the application, and within Business Central itself. So I think this really demonstrates that Continia are a very forward-thinking and forward-looking organization who are continually improving their product. They don't rest on their laurels. They work with partners such as ourselves to understand what the trends in the market are, to understand what customers really require, and then this is actioned through their wonderful development team over in the Netherlands. So I just want to thank Martijn again. That was a fantastic.
More than welcome.
And if there were no other questions, I propose that we close there. We will send around some follow-up, and yeah, we look forward to hopefully speaking with you more about how we can help you with your expense management.
Hiya, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Hi, Jax. Thank you. That was really good to listen about the possibility of this app, the possibilities of the app. Really good. I just wanted to ask a question. I don't think I got it quite there. So everyone can get app in the organization. Do the approvers, so their managers who approve the expenses, do they have to know how to use Business Central, or can they just approve using the app?
The latter. Oh,
yeah,
sorry. You go, Jack. You go.
I was just going to say they don't need to require access to Business Central or have an understanding of it. So essentially, this can exist to the side of Business Central, which has significant advantages from a licensing perspective, but also, as you said, from the usability perspective and training perspective, it's very much exactly as any manager would need to approve any expenses. It's very much a simplified process.
So they would just have to get the app on their phones to approve the expenses. Yes. Of the kind of like belong to their line management. Yeah.
Correct. We have a web approval portal for this, which is basically a portal for non-Business Central users. They would need to have a team member license from Microsoft to do the actual approval because it's a requirement from Microsoft, but it will just look like a normal portal. It doesn't look like Business Central.
Okay, thank you so much.
More than welcome.
Perfect. Well, as I said, if there's any further questions, please reach out to us. Otherwise, Cameron and I propose we close there, and everyone have a wonderful day ahead, and I hope you have a good rest of the week.
Have a
Thank
nice day.
you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.